Hi, I'd like to give a demonstration of a pure data patch that I made that is a partial emulation of the Casio VZ-1 synthesizer. And before I continue, I want to say thank you to Jari and Ed, who helped me with figuring out the formulas and getting them all in pure data, respectively. So this is a partial emulation, which means it's not complete. What it can do is the sine waveform and the 5 sawtooths of the Casio VZ-1, and you can do mix and phase mode. It doesn't do the noise waveforms and it doesn't do the ring modulation mode. This is also not a complete synthesizer. You have the building blocks, but you need to put like a frequency in hertz into this thing and you get a drone out of it. That's all this is really capable of. I'm making this because I want to better understand the sounds that the machine is capable of. But if I want to make music with it, I'm going to use the machine and not this pure data patch. So what does this sound like? I don't know if you can hear this on your speakers, but this is a 50 Hertz sine wave. And it's a sine wave coming out of these two things. This is a phaser and a wave shaper. And it's going through a second wave shaper. So this means we're using the so-called internal phase mode of the Casio VZ-1. That's what we're emulating here. And this volume control has a minimum volume, and that is to simulate the fact that on the Casio you can't turn off the modulator if you're using internal phase mode. So this slider is all the way on the left, but you still hear sound. There's also a mute button here. Unlike the Casio, the mute button works. On the Casio, if you try to mute this, you still hear sound. So this is what the sine wave shaper sounds like. Sine wave into sine wave on the Casio VZ-1. And I made sure to double check that this wave shape you see here matches the thing that comes out of the synthesizer. I checked by ear and also checked by looking at the picture, where you can see that there's a number of these up and down things, and then a little bump. So the more folding you do, the more of these up and downs you get. Right? You start out with just sine wave. Now you get 1 up and down, 2 up and downs, and 3 up and downs. And then it stops. So I try to match the point where this stops with the synthesizer. So what else is going on here? Yeah, so this is the wave shaper, this is the phaser. This is like the regular pure data phaser, except it's scaled because of some funny thing that's going on in the wave shaper. So that if you would use the regular shaper, the frequencies will be off. But now when you put 50 into this thing, you actually get 50 Hertz. And there's a second inlet here on the shaper, which selects the waveform. And so 0 means the sine wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is saw 1, saw 2, up to saw 5. So let's listen to what those sound like. And of course they also sound different once you start driving the modulation up. And we can also change the wave shape of the folder. So right now it's a sine wave, but we can step through the different sawtooth waves. And the funny thing is, I still don't really understand why, is that when you send a sine wave into a sawtooth wave folder, and if you apply the right DC offset, that's one of the things that Jari and I figured out. If you apply the right DC offset, then you get a square wave. And then once you start driving this with the modulator, you get these insane heavy sync type sounds, which is really cool. There's a lot of surprising sounds in this synthesizer. It's just difficult to know where they are and what they are, and that's why I wanted to have this pure data patch. And one final thing I want to show here is that you can, it's not hard to make more complex arrangements of oscillators, so you get what's called the external phase mode of the Casio VZ. So we can duplicate this, put it over here, add a summing stage, and we connect that. And this second one should not have a minimum volume. And let's set this to a different pitch. So now if we bring this in, now we just have the sine wave here. And we can bring in, this will be a 100 Hz sine wave. And we get different wave shapes. And you can also see what happens if you use different waveforms. And different pitches. So you can build combinations of oscillators here that you actually can't have on the original synthesizer. Now what's missing, and what I wish I had here, is ring mode, but it was enough work to get this working, and I wanted to share this in its current state, because I think this is already a lot of fun, and I think this might be fun for other people too, so I wanted to share it. So there you have it. There's a download link in the description of the video, and thanks again to Jari and Ed for helping me with this patch, and thank you for watching.